In this project, I will show you the steps we can take to rebuild this kitchen toaster. We will take a look at the best strategies to create the individual sides, and then also the details like the opening, the push button, and the dial. So let's get started. Step number one is, well, we need to figure out what would be the best strategy. Can we loft this one? Can we extrude this one? And this is a nice study case to show you a different approach. We will create all the 6 different faces and then create the inner volume. Sounds abstract, I agree. Let's get to it. We'll start with the front view. This is the easiest one. We'll create a sketch on this plane. And I'm also simplifying this design just a little bit. So from up here, I draw a line, maybe till, let's say, there. That looks good to me. And then I would like to add an arc. And I make the arc a little bit bigger. And the arc is also tangent to that line. In case you do not see that tangency, go to the sketch palette and create the tangency. With the top point here, we can move this around. Here we can move this around. And you see the once we do everything, the modification of the sketch can be a little bit tricky. So just be mindful with it. But this looks pretty good. Click Stop Sketch. And if we now go to Patch Mode and extrude the sketch, I have chain select. So both the line and the arc are being selected. I can extrude one side and I can extrude also to the other side. And you see that I made each side pretty big. And that's actually on purpose. I overbuilt. Okay, so with this one surface done, I don't have to create the sketch on the other side and then extrude it. I can simply go to Create, Mirror, select bodies as the type. This is the body I mirror plane. Along this one, click OK. Very good. Now I can see here I'm a little bit off, so maybe I have to move the toaster a little bit to the left. So let's do this. Here I go Edit, and then I will select Move, Body, select this one, and then just very gentle nudge it over, and I try to see how each surface there sticks through. Click OK. Click Finish. And this is already a little bit better, which now means I can adjust my sketch. I select both elements, the line and the arc, press M, and then very gently move this to the left, click OK, and stop sketch. And now the surfaces, yeah, they're much better. Very good. To help me navigating my scene, I'm going to hide these two bodies. Then I will create a new sketch on this plane. In case also sometimes you don't see these planes via origin, we can turn them on and off. And I would like now to create an element there too. So you see this is not a line, but it's slightly arced. And then here we have that arc. I want this arc point to be also in this sketch. So these, from both sides, these arcs start at the same position. So I will project maybe the top and the bottom, and also here, this top point. Okay, very good. Because now I have the height position, the length for the line, the length for the arc. Then sketch 21, in my case, I can turn off, go to the left view, and here I will just draw myself preemptively an arc, and then here I will create a spline. Okay, the arc and the spline should be tangent there, and then we have to adjust the height positions. There, you see we have the horizontal constraint. This is all set, very nice. Now we can move these elements slightly in. I have this snap to grid turned on, so I will turn this off. There. What's the radius here? 142, it looks. Okay, very good. Okay, nice. Now with this done, I would like to create the surface, but as you can see, while this is kind of flat, this, or better seen from the top, this is arced. So, how do we do this? I will do the following. I will create a new sketch. Somewhere just on the ground, go to a top view. That's good. I can hide these two. Then I select the spline command, click somewhere, click somewhere, click somewhere. Whoa, why did this? Oh, there it is. As you can see, the sides are slightly different. So I can just draw actually the spline and then position these points as needed. There, very good. So this is actually the path or the rail I will sweep this along. See, they also don't touch each other. That's not a big deal. Go to patch. We go to sweep and say these two lines sweep along this path. Very good. Let's take a look from the front. You see top and bottom are nice horizontal lines. These vertical lines are slightly arced. That makes sense because you can see how this is angled. Also here now we do a mirror again. So this we mirror along this face. There we are. So left and right and front and back, we have the surfaces, just not the top and the bottom. So it's up to you now how we want to structure this. So let's say we call this is left, and then this is front. This is actually front sweep path. And I could create a new sketch and then add these elements in, or put this into the left. In the previous project, I mentioned try not to have too many sketches because then things can get confusing. In this case here, however, I will separate everything into individual sketches, so it is for me easier to navigate. So I turn those off, make a new sketch. Here I will create a nice big spline. There. let's say these 2 points I would like to be horizontal. I can use the grid to snap this to the grid if I want to. And let's see, when I bring this one up or down, I can select the whole thing with M, move it a little bit up. I'm trying to find that arc. Very good. If I want things to be more symmetrical, it's a little trick. I draw a line from the midpoint of my sketch down. Again, I press the L key to draw this line. Escape, select the line, press X, so it's a construction line. That helps me. This midpoint I want to be vertically aligned. And then I click symmetry, this point to this point, be symmetrical along this line. There, escape. And there you see now how this line deforms. Very even. Now this is a perfect centered arc. Here we have another arc. I will, for the moment, ignore this arc. So I just draw a long line, and then later we will come back to that particular detail. Okay, so click stop, click the lines, then let's extrude these out, also here symmetrical. And when I rotate around, I make sure that all surfaces are somewhat intersecting each other. So there's no gap, which we have. Perfect. Click OK. Now, new introduction to a tool, boundary fill. So with the boundary fill, you can select multiple surfaces, and then it will keep the surface or the volume of the inside. That's the reason why it's called a boundary fill, because all these 6 surfaces create a boundary. So select that tool, then we select all 6 faces. When done correctly, you should see this green thing pop up. Click select for the cell. That's the cell we want. Clip. Oh, did they add it? Remove tools. Click OK. Finally, they did it. I complained about this a lot in the past when not having this option. Now we had the volume and all these surfaces, and now I needed to remove all these surfaces, which we can do, but then we have these entries here, which is terrible. So let's undo this and edit feature again, remove tools. Thank you, Autodesk. There. That looks pretty good. Don't you think so? So we have a nice flow. The cool thing is at this point we have a mass volume. So if I move this one down or bring this up, you see we can very quickly adjust the design. So this maybe we can call top bottom trim. That all makes sense. Very good. So what do we do next? At this point, maybe we could think about the edge rounding for a moment. If I zoom in, you will see that this is slightly rounded. This is more rounded. There's a particular fillet tool. Sorry, not fillet tool, fillet option. Click fillet, select this edge, and then instead of constant, we select variable radius. Now we see now 2 arrows. Let's move this one in a little bit and move this in a little bit. So here maybe 10, and for the other one, and say OK. Good. Now we have to do the same on the other 4 edges. Now I have to memorize 10 and 20. Well, what happens if this one edge we want to adjust, then we have to adjust the other 3 edges. So let's go to change parameters. This is kind of like a spreadsheet that shows all the different commands or features we are capturing. And there's the fillet 20. So this one, see fillet 20. And start radius D114, 10, and radius D115. Let's say and radius D bottom. We can actually give those names. Click OK. Now let's go back to fillet, select this edge, variable radius. The end is actually, sorry, the end, this one, is the bottom. And this is the top. But typing in the name, it copies that value from the spreadsheet. And here again, so this is now start. And so here this is actually the top, so I have to be careful. There, this is the bottom. Okay. Yep. Let's do this one more time. So pay attention to the color of the arrow that tells you which one we are working on. So the bottom, and this, you see when I click into this, this arrow lights up. This is the top. Very good. There, very nice. So if we now go back to the first fillet, or we could even go to change parameters and say this one here be 3. Click OK. Now you see all edges have the radius of 3 at the top. 10. Much better. Okay, but is that really 10? I don't know. Let's maybe make this 15. So this one I make 15 and 25. Okay, very good. I did not assign a G2 fillet yet. G2 takes more computational power. So for the moment, I just simply leave G1. That will run faster. Let's go back to fillet, select this one. Here we might say constant radius and 10. Okay, because this one I made 15. Now I can make this 10. I can't make this 15 or 20 because then the radius would get this would be too big. You can see that this, where my mouse is, this arc to where my mouse goes to there is getting smaller. So this is 15, and then with this edge 10, the result here will be a really tiny one. If I set this to 15, see there, this is like super tight. This looks terrible. If we go to 25, we have like a corner point. So this is even worse. So let's go with 5 or 10. Okay, nice. Let's maybe turn on this so we see the edges, how everything looks pretty clean. Very good. Now it's time to create actually, let's start with something simple, the dial. So how do we create the dial? It's a horizontal cylinder. More or less, it's actually a revolve object. So I could make myself here a new sketch. and then say when this is a line, so I try to find the height at the top and the bottom point. Where is my midpoint? There. Let's go inwards. Okay. A little bit up, a little bit down. And then move this one to there. Let's move this one to there. And there's actually our dial. Very good. Okay. Now, that's a revolve object. And revolve this one. Whoops. Along this edge. Not cut, not join. We want this to be a new body. Okay. And let me actually grab the toaster for a second. Okay. And the inside is arced. Good. Inside is arced. So this is actually not flat. It's slightly domed. So that means we have to go back and adjust our sketch here. This line I will select and delete. Then I will draw a line down. Okay. And this one I might bring over to there. And then I will create an arc from there to there and make this, as you can see, tangent to this line. So let me bring this a little bit to there so it's not so extreme. Very good. Stop sketch. Ah, there we are. Very nice. Then we can fillet this a little bit. Very nice. And then we also have a little extrusion there. A little hello. Okay, good. So what did I mean there with a little bit of a detail? Let's rename this button revolve or dial there. And for setting the temperature, you need to have some sort of a marker somewhere. So something either we cut out or we add to it, and they actually have something added to it. So we can do kind of like the same. There, okay, good. So give me 1 second. I want to double check something. Okay. So you see this up here is a longer edge. This is a smaller edge. So we can only design this detail as long as it is here. So it will sit actually on there. We can do actually this, put this detail into the dial sketch. So let's go edit sketch there. And then I will do the following. I will create myself here a line. This line I make parallel to this line. And then I will create an arc, make a tangent, an arc, tangent. Move my mouse down. Yep, that should be good. Stop sketch. And now I have to move this arc more to there. So there are some issues that's happening. You notice by dragging stuff, my sketch got corrupted. So let's go back to edit sketch. This line right now I fix, so it can't move anymore. And this arc, I move on to the green line. You see there is a blue cross. This arc I do the same, or via coincident constraint I can do this. There. So I'm creating a coincident constraint, which means this arc center dot got glued onto this line. Now I can slide it up and down. It makes it a lot easier. So this one here, I just bring to there. Good. Now I can go ahead and move my mouse down. So yeah, it won't collide with there. So we can now do a revolve. This one along this axis. In this case, now we join this. See? Now there we have a small finger element that will help us to understand where is the temperature element. Very good. So that was kind of like the element for the dial. Let's take a look at how we can create the push button. So we can press actually down and then slide the toast into the toaster and start the toasting process of the toaster. Take a look from the top. This in the sketch is a little bit more difficult to see, but this is a slight arc. These are more linear lines. And this actually slides down here along a line. There you can see this is a line. Here this is an arc. I don't know why they didn't do this exactly the same. It's kind of inconsistent. So how do we do this? So on this surface, I want to have a line for the path. And I show my sketches left. So I have the sketch here actually. Unfortunately not there, not a big deal. So I will create a new sketch in this case, there. So this is running through it. And then I will intersect this face with my sketch, because that creates this line. I can call this one button direction. How do I now create actually that button? Currently, this whole thing is still a solid part. So I will create a definition that describes the volume of this button. Then I will create a volume and start cutting the volume from the main element. Okay, that again sounds pretty abstract. So let me show you what I'm talking about. We'll go to construct plane along path. Just I'll put this to the top. Click OK. This I turn off, this I turn on. And on this construction plane, I will create a new sketch. In case you don't see that construction plane, make sure this is turned on. I can go to top view. And first again, hide all other sketches. There I draw a line down. Escape, select the line, press X. This is my mirror line. Then show this. Here we can create an arc. Now this arc I want to be perfectly symmetrical. First thing, horizontally, vertically constrain the dot of my arc to the sketch center. Very good. And then these 2 points I also make horizontally constrained. So you see they run perfectly the same way. Then I can draw a line down and a line down. Make these 2 lines then connected. This is horizontally aligned, and these points I want to be symmetrical. So symmetry, this point to here. So escape. Now you can see I can adjust this. I can adjust this. Pretty awesome. Which means now I can push this one to there. I can push this one to there, making this somewhat bigger than needed. That's good. Okay. Very nice. So show me my toaster. I will go to create extrude this one down, but I don't want this to cut out yet. So we'll create a new body. This toaster I will hide. I will just take a look at where my scan object is. I will bring it down to there, and it has to extrude on top too. So 2 sides in this case, and I can extrude this a little bit. Okay. So this is my object that I will use to cut this space out of this one. So let me show you how this works. We'll go modify, combine, and say U and intersect U. That's my tool, but keep the tool. Nope, we have to change the orientation. U, and this is my tool. So this is actually now my result from the intersection, and keep the tool. That means that what's yellow right now, that is my tool. That object will still be accessible once I click OK. So there it is. There you see now there's this tiny object, and now we do it reverse, and we say this is my target, this is my tool, but this time cut, and I want this cut tool to maintain. So keep tools, click OK. Very good. Nice. There's one little problem. If I go to here, you see that this is at an angle. That angle isn't good because that means it's actually going inwards. I rather would like to have this face instead of going down. Let me show you what I mean with going down. Nope, not center of mass. I want there. Instead of going down, I would like this to go up. Think about dirt and breadcrumbs, etc. If this is at an angle, it can easily flow out. So to do this, we have to go back to this step. And this face, I could trim or I could rotate. So let's do a rotate. We will go to move and then rotate, face, and say this face rotate along this axis. And see, by rotating it, I'm changing the orientation. Let's say like this. That doesn't look too bad. Click OK. And then when we go back, everything is perfectly adjusted. Nice. Very good. So we have this and this done. These are sharp corners. That's not good. So let's fillet this. U and U. 20. Well, this is too much. 15. Too much. 10. Yeah, 10 is good. Then we could go to fillet and say here by 10 or 5. Okay, 10, 5. And then let's do those 2.5. So 10, 5, 2.5. Very good. I could actually go back to change parameter, by the way, and give these values logical names too. So in case I adjust these edges, and then also the edges for here will be changed. I will skip this step. I will just simply, in case I have to change stuff, bite the bullet that I have to do this by hand. So we set this is 10, and this is 5, and then this is 2.5. So there we see how nicely there's a separation visually, but this button is, not really functional because it occupies the whole space. So what can we do there? Let's go back 3 steps. And we press pull and move this one up. We can see actually that we can move this to there. And okay, let's go back. Yeah, this is better. Very good. Now, obviously, this face is parallel to this face. So when we move the whole button down, our fingers will be in kind of like in between. We only want to move this down so that we don't squeeze our fingers, so we can build in a block afterwards. But since this is a beginning exercise, we will simplify certain steps. But what we can do for the styling purpose, to make this already a little bit easier to understand, we do another rotation, this, and now in this case we just bring this one down there. Okay, zip, show this one. Yeah, so now we have kind of like an opening. So this edge will lay on this edge, and then there will be a small cavity for fingers in between. Good. So far, this all actually looked pretty nice. The next step is to cut the space on the top. But before we do this, we have to shell the whole element or whole design. And there's also this arc. So let's cross fingers that everything will work. Here's my main body. This is flat. And hello, shelling command. Let's go to shell and say this face we shell 2 millimeters. Click OK. So what does shelling mean? Let's do a cut section. There you see it actually created a perfect thickness and corded out. It's like Halloween for pumpkin carving for industrial design. Very good. Nice. So this works. And now we can, for example, cut the top. And then also we can cut a slot for the button to go up and down. Maybe let's do the button first, since that is what we worked on. So let's see here. This is the button. Here we have button direction, maybe button direction. Yeah, there we can do this. No, we cannot do this. You see the orientation. So let's make another plane at angle along this line, 90 degrees. Yep. So this is good. Sorry, 0 degrees in my case. Then we create a sketch on here. I hide all the other sketches and I will create a slot there. Center slot, center to center slot. Let's say from, it's probably somewhere there to, I don't know, maybe there. We're just eyeballing this stuff to there. I push this maybe to there. Okay. This now can go. Then I will extrude this zip through the shelled surface, and there's now our opening. Obviously, all the other details are missing, and that's not really a big deal. We're more simulating how stuff could work. So, and we can call this one button slot. The top part, how do we do the opening? So we need to create a sketch to cut this open. We can create the sketch on the bottom. To make it easier to read, I create a construction plane on top. Sketch there. Hide all my objects, show this. So I see plus minus where that thing is. And that is a rectangle with arcs. So let's see what the best way to do this is. So rectangle, and then we will go fillet and say you and you 20. Okay, let's do the same here too. You and you 20. Fillet. See, I populated my shortcut menu. Okay, now I would like this line to be centered. Easiest way, create a point on one edge to the midpoint, and then this point we make horizontally aligned there. Escape. So now we can move this up, bring this over. Yeah. Okay, good. So this is now a nice solid surface, which I can select and zoom, cut down. Very good. Is that the way how they build it? Yeah, that's the way how they build it. And they also rounded this edge. So 2 millimeters is the material thickness, which means here we can give this a max of 2 millimeters or 1.5. We have a very small sliver surface there. And there you see it's a nice detail. Does this look good? Yeah, this is maybe for my model. This gets really tight. So this sketch, maybe I adjust it a little bit there. Sweet. Okay, so for this part one, the last thing maybe we want to do is cut also an opening to the bottom. See here, there is this arc. Let's call this one first toaster top opening. Whoops. Okay. And do a quick peek. That's the way how they did it. Okay, they built this. The design is somewhat different. We're really simplifying the design here a little bit. So this will not look 100% correct, but that's fine. Where do we have our side sketch? Button direction, dial, revolve. Here, there's a top and bottom trim. No, I go back to the sketch for the moment. And there I will add now this arc. Or I could use a spline to click, click, click. I want this to be symmetrical to there. I want this midpoint to be vertically aligned to there. Escape. Now this I can move down. They are pretty much at the correct position. Okay, good. Stop sketch. Let's cross fingers. Nothing actually in here should change. Good. everything is fine. So now we can actually remove this geometry. So the side, bing, both sides, bing, cut this out. And there you can see now there's the outer shell. Okay. The button right now is in there. That is technically speaking not correct. So we could trim if we want to and get rid of the inside stuff. So split body. This body split via these two surfaces. You can see I click this one and this one. Okay. There's that, there's that, there's that. And then one we could delete. But for presentation purpose, really, it doesn't matter. People won't see it. We can just keep it that way. What we, however, could do is create an opening in here so we could fillet these roundings. So let's rather do that. So combine. This is my body. This is my tool. Cut, keep. Very good. So, you know, there are these openings. And for example, this one, we could just give a 1 millimeter rounding there. See that looks better now. 1 millimeter is maybe too much. Let's call this 0.5 millimeter. So we just see something. 1 millimeter was better. Very good. So that pretty much sums up everything what I wanted to show you about how to model this toaster as a concept model in step 1. In step 2, we will create like a mock-up for the stuff that holds the toaster. No, holds the toast. And we will try to close a little bit this lower area so it doesn't look so shelled. If we look from here for rendering, this is fine because we don't see it. But if we are at an angle like here, then we can see through there, and that doesn't look necessarily very good. So we want to adjust this. And also, there are no feet or gliders, so we want to put that too. And I will show that in the second video.